Donnie and Dolly, the team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Just ahead of Amar Doman, Donnie and Dolly presented by Able Auctions. Jeremy Dodd and Company. If you have assets, inventory, or equipment that you need to sell, email sales at ableauctions.ca. We can't thank Jeremy and the folks at Able Auctions enough. Amar Doman purchased the BC Lions back in August. The Lions had been owned, of course, by David Braley since 1997. Amar joining us now. By the way, the Lions play. I know you want to get this in, Amar. The 2-2 Lions play against Ottawa Saturday at BC Place. How are you, sir?
Donnie, that's exactly right. 7 p.m. they play. We're excited to beat the Red Blacks a second time in a row. I'm doing great.
What's stood out for you so far after close to a month of ownership?
Well, I'll tell you, the amount of emails and notes I've received, phone calls, just on the support of, having a local owner back means a lot. When I was walking around BC Place a couple of weeks ago at the Elks game, just people were coming up to me and thanking me for, being involved. And this is for British Columbia. This is really about a piece of history, not only for the CFL, but for BC and for the fans. So it's going to take a lot of time, I think, to get things right, but we're going to work hard at it.
You've been a fan since you were 10 years old. What makes you confident? We all know, Amar, you've been around for a while now. We all know what the Lions used to mean to this city. They still mean a lot, but folks aren't necessarily showing up. What makes you think that you can get this back on track?
I think there's a lot of things. First of all, there's not going to be a quick surgical fix to this. This is a long-term fix, and I'm going to be here for the long term. So it starts with capital being invested as well. It starts with looking at strategies with Pavco to see what that looks like long term. We've got a great building. We just have a tough arrangement, and that arrangement, Mr. Braley, was a custodian of for a long time. So we need to look at that and see what we can do to try and make it more affordable. I think part of the issue is affordability. And if we can start to get more people in there and get the ticket prices down and maybe the concessions eased a little bit, I think that's going to help. I also think that getting youth football, I'm already in touch with UBC and SFU. We're going to be talking and arranging meetings to discuss how do we get some of this legacy stuff that's fallen off the table back on board. Also youth football, my kids are in it, and they're wearing different uniforms. I'm going to start getting those produced and shipped out in orange and black. It's a long fix, guys, and you've got the right owner to take care of that, and the rest will be the product on the field, which is first class, and I think the CFL takes care of itself. There's a first class league.
There's some points in there that I couldn't agree with more, Amar. First and foremost, you mentioned reducing ticket prices. Is that part of the plan?
Well, it's something we're going to look at for next season. This year, everything's arranged, structured, and done. But somehow I'd like to do that. And even, you see other stadiums where they'll open the upper bowl and say, hey, let's have, a cheap ticket night, 2 tickets free for, 2 tickets paid, and make them low cost. We need people to come in and see the product. We can't have these blackouts and different strategies like that. I think blackouts are crazy, number one. And, you want people in, not away, or you want the eyeballs on the game. Yep. So there's a whole bunch of things, and I'm inviting the community to send me ideas and send the Lions ideas because we're wide open.
Amar, when it was Bob Ackles, Wally Buono, Dave Dickinson, that was the last time the Lions had a really good run, and the season ticket base was at about 25,000. I remember at the time. Your season ticket base right now is nowhere near where it needs to be. How do you get the season tickets up?
Yeah, that's going to take a big campaign. And again, it's going to take a lot of awareness. It's going to take, I think, even rallies on game day just to get more people involved. Because one thing, just to get, let's say, a family to come into a game and enjoy it, that's one thing. But then to have someone commit back to season's tickets, that's another, commitment for a family. And so that's, again, looking at pricing strategies, what makes sense, for seating, and all those things have to be looked at. But that's going to take some time to get that season's ticket holder back. I think the one thing I can tell you, Rick, is that, look, the fans are still the fans. Even though they may not have season's tickets, I've received emails from guys that are saying, hey, you know what, now that you're involved, I think I'm going to buy my tickets back. We want to talk to the Lions about what that means today. But these guys haven't really gone anywhere. It's not that they've left the CFL, but I really want to get the newer generation is well involved, and that's going to be a long-term commitment and fix And we have to come at it with both angles. I want to get our traditional fans back, our long-term fans, and then really start to try and get youth involved, not only in football, but again the orange and black, and that's what starts to galvanize it, and then get them in the building. And sometimes I'm going to be doing that at my cost.
Yeah, Amar, Donnie and I were talking about Empire Stadium. We went there late 70s, early 80s. I know you're saying all the right things about BC Place, and I get that. Any idea of a new stadium down the road?
We've been asked about that, and right now, BC Place, it is such a nice stadium. Arguably, some say it's in the right place, some say it's in the wrong place. The city of Vancouver has grown by, a couple million people since the 70s, 80s, just kind of the greater area. Nothing will be off the table long term, but today, we're in BC Place, we're in the house, and my job's to get fans in the building.
Amar, again, you mentioned you've been a Lions fan since, or at least I read you've been a Lions fan since you were 10 years old. And we all remember the heydays. Rick mentioned the Wally Buono era of the 2000s. You and I and Rick will remember the 80s as well. There were some blips in the 90s where the team with Doug Flutie had a lot of success as well. We can go back to the 60s with Joe Kapp and all of that as well. What did the Lions have back then during those eras that they don't have now?
Well, I think there's a few things. I think the game is still just as special and just as traditional to all of us that love Canadian football. So that was certainly there. I think the eyeballs and choices for eyeballs were very different back then as well.
Yes.
I think we remember, guys, we remember TVs before there were remote controls, click, click, click. So you only had, a few options as far as that. And then when you went out to do something, hey, it was the Canucks out in Burnaby, or, hey, it was going to be the Lions. And we didn't have these massive stadiums. We didn't have the downtown strategy where it became very corporate, very expensive. And I think that is kind of a hindrance that we do have on the Lions. But I think that's a couple of the main differences, gentlemen.
What aspects of your other business interests can you bring to the Lions?
Well, certainly not only, do we have a lot of local staff and employees here, whether it's in Richmond, whether it's in Langley, Abbotsford, downtown. Our whole company's charged up. All the companies are charged up about the ownership change and getting them involved, getting their kids involved, and bringing friends, buying a few more suites corporately as well, just to get people down there. And I intend on giving out, a fair amount of tickets every game to schools and different things like that. So I want to find out where a lot of our employees, their kids are going to school. Some are tough schools. We want to get the Lions out more. They do a lot of speaking, but I want more done. I want handouts done. So I think with our employees, we can do a lot with the outreach like an octopus.
Amar, I don't know how much you watch our show, but in July we came up with a multi-point list of how to improve the Canadian Football League. Again, I'm not sure if you watched it. One of the aspects that we brought up was the halftime show. I love it. And this is going to help you, I think. I love it when they bring out kids to play football, and I love that for two reasons. First of all, it's damn entertaining. Nothing against Chilliwack, by the way, who are outstanding against the Red Blacks. Yeah. But I love it when the kids play, they go half field, and everybody watches. It's entertaining. Not only that, but you get kids in the building. Is that a possibility?
It certainly is. We're discussing halftime matters right now. And by the way, the restrictions, sadly, guys, first of all, the first class idea. Right now with COVID restrictions, I got in trouble for going on the field and speaking to BC Place the other day.
Wow.
The CFL and the protocols are so tight because obviously we have to protect the health and safety here. One guy gets COVID, as you know, look what happened to Edmonton. It's really bad. So the restrictions are good to a point. I don't know when we're going to be allowed to do that because the young guys probably won't be double vaxxed, and the new rules kick in on the 14th on that one. But that is definitely on my mind. We talk about the old Shrum games, SFU, UBC being played the day before an important Lions game. These are things I like to revitalize. I don't want to bring back the past, but there's certain pieces that just work, right? They just work, guys. And that's one of them. Kids for sure. And I think the other thing was, catching the ball, when they used to blast out the 3 catch. We do a little bit of that now, but I think we can do a lot more at halftime and in between quarters and different things like that.
Yeah. I've heard your family's name since I was a kid. Your Uncle Herb, certainly. And your family goes way back in this province. What does BC, what does this province mean to you, Amar?
It means everything. You know, grandparents coming from India back in 1906. Grandfather becomes a logger, of course, in Vancouver Island, where I grew up, and most of our family did. This is a dream. Very proud for our community, Donnie and Rick. Very proud for BC. The Lions are in good hands long term here. And my first job here is to listen and really learn and really run this opportunity well in a very classy way. And again, no quick fixes. You know, I think some sports writers are going to, write my obituary in 2 months. That's fine.
Yep.
This is going to take time, and we're going to get it right. And I'm really a big believer in Canada, BC, the CFL, and the BC Lions. So we'll surround ourselves with the best heads to get us there. And guys, your ideas are fantastic. I'm already making notes as we're speaking here.
Oh wow, wow! Just make
You're in
sure
trouble.
make sure you give credit when it happens.
Amar, a lot of people are pulling for you. Thanks for doing this, and thanks so much for joining us.
Look forward to speaking again. Thanks for having me on, guys.
You bet.